Hello and welcome everyone to the first episode of Real Talk with Zaynab at Hatzs Dimension. Today, this is going to be our first episode, and we will be talking about a spectrum of things here. But today, we will talk about one of the most iconic movies of all times, The Devil Wears Prada. And for that, I'm not alone here. We have Samia Saeed, and Samia. How are you, Samia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Thank you for
amazing.
inviting me.
Thank you so much.
It's
So,
a pleasure.
Samya is a fellow fashion enthusiast and she's a career woman. First of all, thank you, Samya, for making time for us today,
It's a
for
pleasure.
coming to this podcast, the very first episode of the podcast. So, what is your take on this movie, The Devil Wears Prada?
It has always been one of my favorite movies, and Meryl Streep has been one of my favorite actresses.
Given you are a fashion enthusiast,
Yeah, of course. That's one of the major reasons why I've
majorly, right?
always liked this movie, and I think it was released in 2006, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
yes, yes, yes.
So
2006.
when you invited me for the podcast, I had to rewatch it, and it was, I mean, I got nostalgic. Whereas, I was, things were coming to my mind, like the fashion trends which were
Down the
at that
memory
time.
lane.
Yeah, exactly. And my time, and during I was going in college during those days, so those kind of things, and me and my friends, we when we watched that movie together, and we kind of discussed that movie, and what we liked about it, what we did not like about it. So yeah, I've always liked that movie. The actors, be it Emily Blunt or Anne Hathaway or Miranda Priestly, I've always been a fan of of Stanley Tucci. He is also a great actor. Um, so yeah, I love that movie.
So yes, absolutely, it's a timeless classic,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of insightful things in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Given the fashion industry, there we can learn about the high pressure career,
Mm-hmm.
and given the boss Miranda Priestly, one of my favorite. So what is your take on the movie? Like, what are the insights?
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from the movie that you can share with us today?
Well, this movie was basically, it's how competitive the professional life, how competitive the world is, be it fashion or be it marketing or whatsoever. But since the movie had, it was in the backdrop of fashion, if we discuss that, and it was highly competitive, and the way Andrea Sachs, who was a recent graduate from the Northwestern University, and how she lands up into, she wanted to be a journalist and not a fashion journalist, and how she ends up in a job that she doesn't had her, how should I put it, didn't have her heart on it, but she landed up there. And how she started, how she had to adapt to it, because if you watch that movie, she had no sense of fashion at
So,
all. I mean, she was
exactly.
very clumsy in the
Yes.
way she dresses up. She was really, she wasn't like in the beginning of her career, how Emily and her boss Miranda Priestly, how they kind of bash her or ridicule her, that she needs to improve herself in terms
So
of
yes,
fashion and
true.
all, and she needs to be conscious of her looks and her weight and stuff. And at first she just doesn't realize that how important these things are. But when the and she works hard. I mean, she really works hard, but she isn't appreciated by her boss, and then she realizes that this is exactly what the area that she's lacking in, and she has to
Lacking,
improve
true.
herself, and she does. So basically, the first insight that I took from it, now when I rewatched it, is you kind of uh, the way you dress, people take you just the way
Dress how
you're
you want to
dressing
be
in.
addressed.
Exactly, dress the way you want to be
So,
addressed. Exactly.
so I rewatched the movie too for
Mm-hmm.
this episode, and yes, I read this somewhere that you should dress how you want to be addressed, and I think it's really true.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because I think one of the main takeaways from the movie, as we see, you see in the start of the movie, initially she has no fashion sense,
Yes.
and then she transforms herself, and we see her character evolving through the
Yeah.
movie. So how do you think that Andy's transformation, what does it reflects? Like, what do you have to say about it?
Well,
Her
obviously,
transformation, basically.
yeah, basically it reflects that how passionate she was to be successful at this job, and how she takes up the challenge of trying to come up to her boss's expectations. I mean, how hard Miranda is to impress, as she was a perfectionist and she doesn't settle for anything less than perfection.
True.
That's what she was, that's what she portrays.
I
And
mean,
she was so kind of uh, obsessed with her career, I would say.
can you relate with Andy on a personal level, though?
And on a personal level, yes, I can, to some extent, of course.
Do you want to share something with us?
Yeah, when I started my career, when I stepped into
In the fashion
professional life,
industry?
no, not in the fashion industry. In when I started my professional life, quite a few years back. So how I had to, I came up with a really, how should I put it?
So you
I had
came,
strong
you came
CEO.
across any Miranda Priestly?
No, not that. But yeah, you could say a little lower than that. Not that high, but yeah, a little lower than that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was difficult for me to come up to their expectations, and I was able to. Thank God, I was able to do that. But yes, if you ask me that if I can relate to Emily, yes, I can relate to Emily, of course, because I was absolutely not I didn't. I started my career a little late, and I wasn't aware that how what professional life is. But yeah, I worked really hard, and I tried to inculcate in myself the all the traits that are required in a good professional, and I did that. I think I did.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Samya, that's great. Okay, I would like to add that we've seen Andy, and her contacts with influential people at that time, which really
Yes.
helped her in her early success.
Yes.
So, do you think it's important to build such relationships? What do you think?
Of course, networking is really,
Yes,
yeah,
basically about
exactly,
the
networking.
networking.
Networking is very important these days, because of, you need to have connections, because this is really important in professional life. And as in the movie, as we see that, what was the name of that person? Christian Thompson,
Christian
the
Thompson,
who was into publishing, in the way she, when Miranda asks her to get manuscripts for the unpublished book on Harry Potter,
Harry
and the way, yeah, and the way she gets two copies for it for her twins, and the way she uses her contacts, which was asking Christian Thompson to help him with it. So yeah, of course, networking is really important. You need to have connections for during these times.
Okay, so has networking helped you in your daily life?
Obviously, of course it has. I mean,
Oh.
in marketing, I have had a really, I have really good friends in the field, and they've helped me a lot in improving myself and boosting my potential and boosting myself professionally and personally. They've really helped me in personal and professional growth.
All right, so let's talk about my favorite character of the movie,
Sure,
Miranda
of
Priestly.
course. I'd like
Let's
to
talk
know
about
that.
Miranda Priestly.
Okay.
Like, as we've seen her character, high maintenance, intimidating, and inspiring at the same
Of
time.
course.
So, what do you have to talk about? What do you have to say about Miranda? Like,
Well, she has, like any like any person, like any human who has flaws and good aspects in his or her personality. She was just the same. And yeah, what I would say that I love about her, and I can relate it to myself, that she's a career obsessed woman, and I'm myself, like that kind of a person. I am a workaholic, and I like to work as much as I can. But on the other hand, the other side of the story is that she doesn't care about her relationships. She doesn't have a personal life as such.
so do you
And
think there should be a balance between your personal and career life? And if yes, how do we like take care of both things together? Like, how can we maintain both of things? How to maintain that balance?
Well, that's obviously that it is important. I mean, to in order to have a a healthy life, if you don't want to burn out, if you have to
Because
be
I
careful.
recall she got divorced in the movie, right?
Yes, twice. That
Yeah.
was twice, and I mean, in order to lead, in order to save yourself from burning out, you need to have a healthy work-life balance, and for that, I mean, there are several ways. You need to, just. Have a good, you need to spend time with your family. There is meditation. There are several ways that you can have. I myself do that to not burn myself out, and keep myself moving. So yeah, work life balance is really important,
All
and that's what
right.
I learned from the movie. That yeah, because fashion, considering fashion and also the competitive world that we are living in. So there's a sheer need to we need to draw a line where we need to set our boundaries, that after the post this we don't have to, we have to stop it here. Because in the current competitive world, in order to prove yourself, people also have to kind of they lose their identity. I mean, you have to prove yourself so much. You have to create your identity in as a professional in today's world, that you're not able to set boundaries. And that's where, if talking about Devil Wears Prada, I mean, I'll give that an example from there. That Andy Sachs, she starts to lose her personality. If you see her,
Yeah.
how she evolves, she was a good-willed person. I mean, a positive person. She cares about everyone.
Yeah, and I think when she realizes that,
Ex-
she goes for, she resigns
yes,
from
yeah.
that firm, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That was quite a bold move, and the way she realizes that when she in the car, when she has, it was a Met Gala, and both Miranda and her assistant Andrea Sachs, they're going to the Met Gala, and when they discuss it, that Miranda Priestly, she tells Andrea that
I don't
when you
relate
had
to
a
you.
choice,
Yeah.
when you had a choice, that you had to make a choice to let Emily come with me to
Me to the
Paris, as it
palace.
was
Yes.
a big career move in it was a turning point in her career, that she should have gone to Paris. She could have either chosen it for herself, or she could have let her go, and she chose herself.
So,
And she pointed it out right, that you made a choice, you made this choice for herself, and you did not let Emily do that. So
so she tells her that we are the same,
yes, exactly. So
and then
and she's
Andy tells her that no, we
yes,
don't relate to each
yes,
other.
yes,
I'm not like you, so I'm just
yes,
gonna
yeah,
resign. And she
yeah,
makes things right with her
yes,
boyfriend.
exactly,
I
exactly,
at that
yeah.
all right. That was
Yeah,
insightful.
so that's what she does when she says that I see a lot of myself in you, and she says no, I'm not like that. And then she makes her realize that that's what you did. This act, this act of yours shows that you are like me, and you can do anything for yourself, for your career. And that's what she does with one of her really good friends and her colleagues, Nigel, who was a creative director. And I mean, everyone thinks, and he himself was thinking, that probably he'll be the next probably the one who will be running runway.
Anyway,
And she doesn't do that. She she brings another person. I don't remember exactly what happens, but she brings a Jacqueline Filet. She brings that a woman into the company, and she doesn't let Nigel take the job that he deserved after so long, after many years of effort. He doesn't get what he deserves, so which was also hurtful to him.
let's be a little more gender specific. Let's
Okay.
talk about how, like, do you think there is gender biasness in the market? Do you think that this biasness, these stereotypes, are affecting the leadership role opportunities for the women?
Hmm.
So, do you think they exist? Do you have been a victim of this biasness?
Absolutely.
So, please shed some light on
Ab-
those experiences.
Absolutely.
Or is there any secret women CEO of Women Society where you people are dodging stereotypes?
Well, obviously, every since women are still considered, since most of being in this society which is patriarchal. Obviously, when being a woman, you have to face certain, you come across certain stereotypes which have been prevailing in our society for decades. And on some level we all try to, kind of overcome those and prove ourselves. We have to, go above and beyond. So,
So how do you
not
handle the scrutiny?
obviously we have to put in more hard work than, as is, expected from men. And that's how you deal with it. And it's every step of the way you have to prove yourself that, yeah, you are, equally, you're worthy of this position. And you really deserve it. And I have been able to, prove it to my seniors, and the people in the top hierarchy, that, yeah, I am, worthy of the position that you've chosen me for.
So
So
Samia,
it's a
what
daily basically it's a struggle on a daily basis. And you have to, you have to fight this war on several war fronts.
all right. So what advice would you like to give to the women who are, at the leading positions or looking forward to be, in some executive position in the future? What advice would you give them as a career lady yourself? Uh,
That you have to work hard. And obviously you need to, prove yourself, and don't consider yourself that you're not worthy of it. Of course you're worthy of it. If you've if you think that you have all the skills and you have all the expertise, that you can sit in that chair and work on it and prove yourself that you are, worthy of it. So sure.
so what was your favorite fashion? What can I say? Moment from the movie.
Well, there were many. When Nigel, when she tells Nigel to, help her in, improving her work dress, and how he helps him go to the wardrobe and get the sample dresses from the wardrobe which is at her workplace. That was one of the. I mean, there are several. Then there is one when she goes to Paris with Miranda, and then there is. I mean, what
Met
else?
Gala.
Yeah, Met
I
Gala
guess
was,
that
yeah, the
Paris
fashion,
week.
yeah, the Paris Fashion
I
Week.
love that too.
That's, yeah, there are several. I mean, if to be very honest, I like each and every scene, every moment of it. And but to name a few, as you've asked, these are a few that I like.
All right. Thank you so much, Samya, for being with us today, for taking your time, for taking your time. It will be a memorable podcast for both of us because today it was the first episode, right? And with that, the first episode comes to its end. Thank you so much for being with us. Keep challenging the status quo, supporting each other, and creating environment where opportunities no gender. I think that's all. Thank you for
That's
tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.